J.J. Abrams was the man who started the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy, starting off with Star Wars The Force Awakens, and is now back for Star Wars Episode 9. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, these past couple of weeks we've been learning a whole lot more about the final installment of the Skywalker saga. Multiple actors and actresses have been commenting on Carrie Fisher's return in the final film of this trilogy, which, by the way, guys, I gotta say, it is so refreshing to hear that Carrie Fisher will be back in Episode 9. JJ is doing this by using unused footage from The Force Awakens. However, today I wanted to go over flashbacks being in Episode 9, this concept that J.J. Abrams came up with in Star Wars The Force Awakens by use of a Force back vision. Now, you do know that in the basement of Takodana, alright, the Maz Kanata castle of Takodana, in the basement of that, we have a scene in which Rey touches the Skywalker lightsaber and she's sucked into a Force back vision, seeing events unfolding from the past to the present leading into the future, and we see all of these different visions happening all at once. And this is really leading a lot of people into wondering on exactly how will J.J. Abrams implement this in Star Wars Episode 9. We do know that he will be using such material in the final movie, so with that being done and said, exactly how will J.J. Abrams perform the Force backs, or should I say the flashbacks, in Episode 9? Because we do know that Rian Johnson kind of retconned the entire idea of how flashbacks were done in the Star Wars franchise. So with J.J. Abrams, it was done by a vision where a Force user or a Force-sensitive individual touches an object that has a heavy past. So with Rey touching the Skywalker lightsaber, that's how we, the audience, visually got to see some flashback sequences, even though for Rey as a character, it was really a vision. Now, in The Last Jedi, it was a regular format in the way, you know, flashbacks are done in pretty much any movie out there. A great example is, of course, The Godfather Part 2. Except with this one, in The Last Jedi, we had a lot of narration by Luke Skywalker telling Rey about what happened with him and Kylo Ren, you name it. Now, in Episode 9, will J.J. Abrams bring back the same exact format that he used for flashbacks from The Force Awakens, where Rey would touch a certain object and get sucked into a Force back vision once again, seeing moments from the past leading into the future, and maybe even the present, where she sees different, you know, alternate timelines, etc. We do know that they actually used a concept much like that in Star Wars Rebels Season 4's episode, Worlds Between Worlds. However, the thing is here, do you guys think it's a good or a bad thing to use flashbacks once again in Star Wars Episode 9? Now, I'll give my 2 cents on this. I think it's a great idea. In fact, I think it's an amazing idea if J.J. Abrams were to essentially embrace the idea of flashbacks and kind of use it as a major piece of Episode 9 as opposed to a little piece in the movie. If he were to actually use that concept and put this into the movie and treated Episode 9 like The Godfather Part 2, I think would be just so great, because not only is there a lot to tell from the events of the past, such as, you know, moments with Luke Skywalker, Ben Solo, Supreme Leader Snoke, you name it, and we've been going over all these different concept art descriptions, which really do tell us that J.J. Abrams is going to embrace the idea of bringing flashbacks back in action within Episode 9. But how will it be done? Exactly how will the format be in this movie? Like I said, The Force Awakens, it was a vision. Rey touches the saber, she sees events from the past, the future, etc. Then, in The Last Jedi, it's just a normal flashback. You know, there's no in-universe reason as to why Rey is seeing this. She's not. It's just for the audience to see. And then in Episode 9, I'm led to believe that J.J. Abrams will use the same exact concept from The Force Awakens. What could very well be done is that Rey returns to the planet of Ahch-To, comes across Luke Skywalker's green lightsaber, touches it, and gets a little vision of the past, seeing more moments of Luke Skywalker alive, and more moments of Ben Solo. Getting a more, fleshed out story of the past between what happened with Luke and Ben, maybe even seeing the moment of when Luke Skywalker first met Ben Solo. Could you imagine seeing something like that on screen, where we have a younger Ben Solo, more like a kid at this point, let's say ages 10 to 11, and you have Uncle Luke Skywalker just standing there with his lightsaber by his hilt, and that could very well be a meaningful connection as to why Rey is able to see such an event by touching that object. So, what do you guys think about flashbacks being in Episode 9? I myself think it's a great tool to really make the story more in-depth and have a lot of substance and kind of tell more backstory for characters of Luke, Snoke, and Kylo. Because if I look at Episode 9 and Episode 9 alone, I'm not really quite sure what they're really going to do with just the Resistance and Kylo Ren and Rey. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.